नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
प्रह्लाद लाददायिने
प्रह्लाद लाददायिने
प्रह्लाद लाददायिने
प्रह्लाद लाददायिने
हिरण्याकशिपूर्वक्षः हिरण्याकाशिपूर्वक्षः
हिरण्याकाशिपूर्वक्षः
शिलटाङ्कानखालाये
शिलटाङ्कानखालाये
शिलाटाङ्कानखालाये
शिलटाङ्कानखालाये
इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा
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 यतो यतो यामि ततो 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 नरसिंहा
बहि नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा
महे नरसिंहा हृदये 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 नरसिंहा
नरसिंहा मदि शरणं प्रपदे
नरसिंहामदिं शरणं प्रपदे
नरसिंहामदिं शरणं प्रपदे
नरसिंहामदिं शरणं प्रपदे
तव कर कमलवरे नाखा अद्भुत शृङ्गार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
कर कमल हरे मथा मधुत शृङ्गार ललिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जया केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare.
जय विघ्न विनाशा जय नरसिंहादेव विघ्न विनाशा जय नरसिंहादेव
जय विघ्न विनाशा जय नरसिंहादेव विघ्न विनाशा जय नरसिंहादेव
जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव
लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव
जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय जय गुरुदेव प्रभुपाद गुरुदेव प्रभुपाद
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री नरसिंह जय जय नरसिंह प्रहलादेश जय पद्मा मुख पद्मा भृंगा। This is part 2 of the 3-part presentation on Narasimha Leela. In the previous narration, we have heard how Hiranyakashipu terrorized the whole universe after getting some boons from Lord Brahma, by which he thought he had become immortal. Hiranyakashipu had 4 sons, of whom the one named Prahlad was a great devotee of the Supreme Lord Narayana. He was full of transcendental qualities. And when Prahlad was sent to the Gurukul to be educated in topics of politics and economics, he was not at all interested in learning these subjects. However, the teachers tried to educate him in dharma, artha and kama, and presented him before his father when they thought that they had sufficiently trained him, taught him, and he had become well versed in these topics. So Prahlad, when he was presented before his father questioned him and inquired from him, what is the best of what you learned? Prahlad, instead of replying to the father what the father was expecting to hear, something about politics, diplomacy, all these type of things, Prahlad replied that rendering 9 kinds of devotional service is the best education. And Hiranyakashipu became very angry. He thought that the teachers are teaching something else. So he began to rebuke the sons of Shukracharya. And then the sons of Shukracharya reported that we have never taught Prahlad all this, what he's speaking to you. Somehow he is having that spontaneous devotion in his heart. We don't know. Where is he getting that from? So then Hiranyakashipu, angry at Prahlad, questioned, where have you learnt all these things if your teachers have not taught you all this in the Gurukul? So now Prahlad's reply will be given in this narration. So Prahlad's reply to his father, where did he learn all these things about bhakti? So Prahlad says, Matirna Krishne Paratasvato va Mitho Vipadyeta Grihavratanam Adanta Gobhir Vishatam Tamisram Punah Punascharvita Charvananam. Prahlad Maharaj's reply was, because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress towards hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclinations towards Krishna are never aroused either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. Further, Prahlad says, Nate viduhu swartha gatim hi Vishnum durashaya ye bahirarthamaninaha andhayathandairupaniyamana te api ishatantriyam urudamni baddha. Prahlad is telling further, persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. After Prahlad had spoken in this way, he became silent. Hiranyakashipu was blinded by anger through this gentle and nice, well-behaved Prahlad. Down on the ground, he pushed him away from his lap. With reddish eyes like molten copper, Hiranyakashipu said to his servants, "Take this boy away from me. He deserves to be killed. Kill him as soon as possible." Now the demons, who were faithful servants of Hiranyakashipu, they actually took Prahlad and began striking the tender parts of his body with their tridents. They have no compassion. They have no good feelings. And they are all hard-hearted. They are demons. Rakshasas. The demons had fearful faces, they had sharp teeth, they had reddish coppery beards and hair, and they appeared extremely threatening, making a tumultuous sound, shouting, "Chop him, pierce him, strike him." They simply were trying to kill the small boy. And what is Prahlad doing? He sat silently, meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, the weapons the demons used had no tangible effect upon Prahlad because he was a devotee undisturbed by material conditions, and he was simply fully engaged in meditation upon the Supreme Lord. When all the attempts of the demons to kill Prahlad Maharaj were futile, the king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, being very, very fearful of this boy, began thinking of other means to kill him. So Bhagavatam is describing what are the different ways Hiranyakashipu tried to kill Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu could not kill his son by throwing him beneath the feet of elephants, by throwing him among huge fearful snakes, employing destructive spells, hurling him from the top of a hill, conjuring up illusory tricks, administering poison, starving him, exposing him to severe cold, winds, fire, water, throwing heavy stones to crush him. None of these ways Hiranyakashipu could do any harm to Prahlad. When Hiranyakashipu found that he could not harm Prahlad in so many ways, he was in great anxiety what to do next. Hiranyakashipu thought to himself within his own mind, I can see that this boy's strength is unlimited, for he has not feared my punishment. He appears immortal. If you remember, Hiranyakashipu's plan was to become immortal by getting boons from Brahma after performing severe austerities. So Hiranyakashipu was thinking that he was immortal. But now it turns out Prahlad is immortal. And Hiranyakashipu doesn't really know what's going to happen to him in the future. Therefore, he began to think, oh, because of my enmity towards my own son, I may die. Or maybe this may not happen. Something told him that maybe he will not die immediately. Thinking in this way, Hiranyakashipu, morose and bereft of bodily luster, remained silent with his face down. Then Shanda and Amarka, the two sons of Shukracharya, the teachers of Prahlad, they came to him and spoke in secret. O Lord, we know that when you simply move your eyebrows, all the commanders of the various planets are most afraid of you. As for Prahlad, he is nothing but a child and cannot be a cause of anxiety. After all, his bad or good qualities have no value. Until the return of our spiritual master Shukracharya, arrest this child so that he will not run away. In any case, by the time he is somewhat grown up and has assimilated our instructions, he will change his intelligence. Thus, there need be no cause for anxiety. After hearing these words from Shanda and Amarka, Hiranyakashipu agreed and requested them to instruct Prahlad in the system of occupational duty which is followed by royal householder families. Hiranyakashipu was thinking, my son should become a first-class enjoyer. But Prahlad was not interested in any material enjoyment, being a devotee. Thereafter, Shanda and Amarka systematically taught Prahlad Maharaj what was the topics about religion, economic development and sense gratification. Three things. Dharma, Artha, Kama. Prahlad, being situated above such instructions, did not like them. For these instructions were based on the duality of worldly affairs, which involve one in a materialistic way of life, marked by birth, death, disease, and old age. When the teachers went home to attend to their household affairs, the students of the same age as Prahlad would call him to take the opportunity of leisure hours to play. Prahlad was truly supremely learned person, and he began to address his class friends in sweet language. Smiling, he began to teach them about the uselessness of the materialistic way of life. So Prahlad's instructions are now given in the Bhagavatam. Few of them I will just try to narrate here. Kaumara acharet pragno dharman bhagavataniha durlabham manusham janma tadapya dhruvam arthadam. Prahlad Maharaj said to his classmates, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood, to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. Then Prahlad further instructs his classmates, my dear friends born of demoniac families, the happiness perceived with reference to sense objects by contact with the body can be obtained in any form of life according to one's past fruitive activities. Sukham aindriyakam daitya deha yogena dehina. Sarvatra labhyate daivat yatha dukkham ayatnataha. Such happiness is automatically obtained without separate endeavor, just as we obtain distress. Yatha dukkham. So Prahlad's statement is perfect. We can understand that nobody works for distress, but distress comes. Why does distress come? Even though we don't want it or we don't work for it, because of our past sinful reactions. Similarly, our past pious reactions will give us happiness or enjoyment, material enjoyment. We don't have to separately endeavor for it. Rather, we should endeavor for devotional service, Krishna consciousness. That is never automatically obtained, never. We have to put our personal endeavor, personal efforts. Now Prahlad analyzes how the entire duration of 100 years of a human being simply is passed away without any meaningful activity of devotional service being performed. Nowadays, we hear people say, no time, no time, no time. You tell them, you please chant Hare Krishna at least for 10 minutes. Oh, no time, I don't have time, I'm a very busy person. So this no time, no time, no time is analyzed by Prahlad here. He says every human being has a maximum duration of life of 100 years. But for one who cannot control his senses, half of those years are completely lost because at night he sleeps 12 hours, being covered by ignorance. Therefore, such a person has a lifetime of only 50 years. Half his lifetime is lost in sleep. In the tender age of childhood, when everyone is bewildered, one passes 10 years. Similarly, in boyhood, engaged in sporting and playing, one passes another 10 years. In this way, 20 years are wasted. Similarly, in old age, when one is invalid, unable to perform even material activities, one passes another 20 years wastefully. So out of 100, 50 is gone in sleeping, 20 is gone in childhood and youth, and another 20 is gone in old age. So what remains is only 10 years. One whose mind and senses are uncontrolled becomes increasingly attached to family life because of insatiable lusty desires and very strong illusion. In such a mad man's life, the remaining years are also wasted because even during those years he cannot engage himself in devotional service. So all 100 years are wasted and gone. A person does not engage in devotional service. So he misses this chance of human form of life to take up devotional service and gradually perfect oneself. So Prahlad further addresses the classmates, my dear sons of demons, the Supreme Personality of God, Narayana, is the original super soul, the father of all living entities. Consequently, there are no impediments to pleasing him or worshipping him under any conditions, whether one be a child or an old man. The relationship between the living entities and Supreme Personality of Godhead is always a fact, and therefore there is no difficulty in pleasing the Lord. Prahlad further tells his classmates, I received this knowledge from the great saint Narad Muni, who is always engaged in devotional service. This knowledge, which is called Bhagavata Dharma, is fully scientific. The sons of the demons replied, when they heard Prahlad say, I have learned this from Narad Muni. They said, Dear Prahlad, neither you nor we know any teacher other than the sons of Shukracharya, Shanda and Amarka. Would you kindly explain how was it possible for you to learn from Narad Muni? So Prahlad said that when my father Hiranyakashipu went to Mandarachala mountain to execute severe austerities, in his absence the demigods headed by Indra made severe attempt to subdue all the demons in warfare. So the demigods began to fight against the demons, and when their leaders were killed, the remaining demons left this space, that place, and scattered themselves in all directions. Now the victorious demigods plundered the palace of Hiranyakashipu. Mind you, this is happening before Hiranyakashipu has done tapasya. He was the king of the demons and he was in one of the lower planets. So that is where his palace was. So the demigods plundered the palace of Hiranyakashipu and destroyed everything inside it. Then Indra, king of heaven, arrested the queen, who is Prahlad's mother. As she was being led away, this great sage Narada happened to pass by on that path. And when he saw the situation, he told Indra, O Indra, king of the demigods, this woman is certainly sinless. You should not drag her off in this merciless way. The chaste woman is the wife of another. This chaste woman is the wife of another. You must immediately release her. So Indra replied to Narad Muni, in the womb of this woman is the seed of that great demon Hiranyakashipu. Therefore, let her remain in our custody until the child is delivered. Then we shall release her. We won't harm her. So Narad Muni replied to Yudhishthira, the child within this woman's womb is faultless and sinless. Indeed, he is a great devotee, a powerful servant of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, you will not be able to kill him. So when Narada had thus spoken, Indra, being respectful to Narada's words, immediately released Prahlad's mother. And because Prahlad was a devotee of the Lord, the demigods circumambulated her and they returned to their celestial abode. Prahlad Maharaj continued speaking to the sons of the demons. The great saint Narada brought my mother to his ashram and assured her of all protection, saying, my dear child, please remain at my ashram until the arrival of your husband. Narad Muni knew Hiranyakashipu was gone for doing tapasya to Mandarachala mountain. So he kept Hiranyakashipu's wife in his own ashram and said, you are assured of protection here. Remain here till your husband returns. Now, Prahlad's mother stayed in the care of Narad Muni without any fear, and Prahlad's mother decided that she is going to deliver the child only after her husband's arrival. So she stayed at Narad Muni's ashram and she rendered service to Narad Muni very sincerely. Narad Muni delivered his instructions, spiritual knowledge, to both Prahlad, who was in the womb of his mother, as well as to the queen, the wife of Hiranyakashipu. Now, in course of time, Prahlad's mother forgot everything about the instructions given by Narada Muni. But Prahlad, by the blessings of Narada, could remember all those instructions. Now, all the sons of the demigods who were hearing Prahlad, they were very much impressed and they appreciated the transcendental instructions of Prahlad. And they took them very seriously. They rejected the materialistic instructions given by Shanda and Amarka. When Shanda and Amarka came to know all the other children are becoming devotees because of one devotee, Prahlad, so they approached Hiranyakashipu and described to him the situation as it was. Hiranyakashipu understood the entire situation and he was extremely angry. He's so passionate, little somebody provokes him, he becomes very angry. That's the nature of a person situated in mode of passion. So his whole body began to tremble due to his anger. He finally decided to kill his son Prahlad. Now Hiranyakashipu was by nature very cruel and he was feeling insulted. He began hissing like a snake trampled upon by someone's foot. Prahlad, on the other hand, was very peaceful, very mild, very gentle, senses under his control, and he stood before Hiranyakashipu with folded hands. According to Prahlad's age and behavior, he was not to be chastised. Yet with staring crooked eyes, Hiranyakashipu rebuked him with the following harsh words. Hiranyakashipu told his son, "O most impudent, most unintelligent disruptor of the family, O lowest of mankind, you have violated my power to rule you, therefore you are an obstinate fool. Today I shall send you to the place of Yamaraj." So Hiranyakashipu was speaking like this because he thought that somehow this boy is taking the side of my enemy and somebody has spoiled his mind. I'm just unable to correct him. All my methods have failed. Neither have I been able to kill him through my servants. In any case, I personally am now going to cut off his head with a sharp sword. Let me see how he is going to protect himself. So he openly chastised Prahlad and told him that I shall send you to the place of Yamaraj. I'm going to kill you today. I'm not going to spare you. You are an obstinate fool. You don't understand how powerful I am. Earlier is described simply unfavorably if I raise my eyebrows, the big chiefs of different planets, they begin to tremble and shiver in fear of Hiranyakashipu. So that being Hiranyakashipu's real position, he is wondering how this Prahlad is so bold, so courageous. He does not become afraid. He is very calm. He is not getting agitated, how much ever Hiranyakashipu tries to agitate him. So he decided, now I'm going to kill this boy. I cannot keep him anymore. So Hiranyakashipu further asked Prahlad another question. He said, "You rascal, you know that when I'm angry, all the planets of the three worlds tremble along with their chief rulers. By whose power has a rascal like you become so impudent that you appear fearless and overstep my power to rule you?" Now Prahlad's reply is very interesting. Prahlad told Hiranyakashipu, "My dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking is also the source of yours. This is very interesting to hear. That Prahlad's source of strength is the same as the source of strength of Hiranyakashipu. Was such a powerful demon. We generally think that we are independent. We are able to gather some knowledge, some power, some facilities, some abilities, some skills. We think everything is mine, or I have acquired it by my hard work. But what they fail to understand is, every skill that anybody has, every knowledge somebody has, everything they have assimilated, all these belong to the Supreme Lord. He only awards every living being whatever power they require, whatever intelligence they require, whatever facilities they require. He only awards. So people do not know this and simply are engaged in all kinds of sinful activities, especially. And they become entangled and they suffer and they have no clue how to get out of this cycle of birth and death. So such people, what is the hope for them? Only pure devotees are the hope for them. So Prahlad is perfectly instructing his father. In spiritual subject matter, seniority is not just by age. Neither it is based even on learning. It is based on spiritual advancement. Prahlad was spiritually very advanced, and his father, being a demon, he was against Vishnu. It is not that somebody acquires all these skills and knowledge, everything by their own independent efforts. It is all awarded by the Supreme Lord for every living entity. The Supreme Lord is present in everyone's heart. He only awards every living being's abilities and strength. So that is what Prahlad is telling here. Whether moving or not moving, superior or inferior, everyone, including Lord Brahma, the topmost Devata, is controlled by the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this reply, when Hiranyakashipu heard, he was already angry. He became even more angry. But Prahlad tried to pacify him. And Prahlad was in such a position because he is completely calm and he is fully controlled his senses. And he understands what is Hiranyakashipu's problem. Why is he behaving like this? Prahlad knew perfectly. So he's telling his father, my dear father, please give up your demoniac mentality. Asuri Swabhava. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that this Asuri Swabhava is actually leading to degradation of the soul. Asuri Bhava. It is said that because of this Asuri Bhava, such people never surrender to Krishna. Even though very easily by surrendering to Krishna one can get out of material existence, one can cross over the influence of the three gunas. Mameva ye prapadyante mayame tam taranti. So Hiranyakashipu, when he heard this from Prahlad, he said, you rascal, you're trying to minimize my value as if you are better than me at controlling the senses. Prahlad told that except for uncontrolled senses, there is no other enemy that you have really. So give up your demoniac mentality. You surrender to the Supreme Lord, Vishnu. But Hiranyakashipu became very, very, very angry. He said, "You rascal, you're trying to minimize my value as if you are better than me at controlling the senses. This is over-intelligent. I can therefore understand you desire to die at my hand." So, you always talk of a supreme controller. Where is he? I'm not able to see him. You say he's everywhere. Then he asked, "Is he in this pillar? Let me see whether he will come to protect you. Is he in this pillar?" So Prahlad said, "Yes, he is everywhere. He is within the pillar also." Hiranyakashipu then took his sword and with great anger he struck his fist against the pillar. And then what happened next, we will hear in the next episode. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If you found this video interesting, do like it and share it with your loved ones. For more uplifting spiritual content, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon.